Welcome back to Book Break. If you're in the mood for something cozy today, you have come to the right place because this video is going to be all about fireside page-turning reads. I am lucky enough to be sitting in front of a real fire today. It is very cozy, though forgive me if it does make the video a little loud. It does keep making crackling noises, but I can't complain. All of the books I'm going to talk about in this video are perfect for reading, whether it's by a real fire like this one or by your Netflix fire on your TV screen, which is usually what I do at home. Some of the books I'm going to talk about are really cozy, so perfect for curling up by a fire with. Some of them are mysteries. I always feel like a good classic crime story is perfect for this kind of fireside evening read. Some of these books might give you chills, so you'll be glad of the fire, virtual or not, to warm you back up. So let's kick off with some crime and a classic, The Adventures of Arsène Lupin, Gentleman Thief. So this book is a collection of stories about Lupin, who is kind of the French Robin Hood. He is a gentleman thief. He steals from the rich and gives to the poor. He outsmarts the police. If you've seen the Netflix show Lupa, this is the book that inspired it. These are really fun stories because Lupin is really charming and clever and dazzling, and he goes on these incredible adventures but also never really takes himself too seriously, so they are a lot of fun, and you will get a little cameo at some point from Sherlock Holmes. Another great book to read by the fire would be Fragile by Sarah Hilary. So this is a gothic psychological thriller. It's about a young woman called Nell, a former foster child and a runaway, who has had lots of terrible things in her past, and she's running away from some secrets. The book is also narrated from another point of view, that of Megan, who is Nell's former foster mother, and she is a very dark character to read about. So we jump around in time, piecing together bits of this story. In the present day, Nell has shown up at this house, Starling Villas, where she has just been hired by a very strange and very strict new employee who has lots of rules that can't be broken and seemingly lots of secrets of his own. The book is kind of Rebecca meets The Handmaid's Tale. It is very dark and gothic, it is really page-turning, and it's got a social commentary running through it as well. For something dark but a little bit magical, you could pick up Library of the Dead by T.L. Huchu. So this one is set in present-day Edinburgh, and it's about a teenage ghost talker called Roper. So she can hear messages from the dead and pass them on to the living. But then she starts hearing messages from the dead that someone is bewitching children. And so Roper gets caught up in this mystery. She stumbles across an occult library. She has to call upon her ancestral Zimbabwean magic to help. If you want another comparison description there, I've heard this described as Sixth Sense meets Stranger Things. And while we're on the topic of dark books, I really recommend The Other Black Girl by Zakiya Dalila Harris. So this book is not what you expect it to be. Whatever you're predicting, the book will surprise you. Essentially, it is a satire of the publishing industry, which is very interesting, someone who works in publishing. It is all about the racism that can exist within the publishing industry. But the book takes a lot of very dark turns. We're following a young woman who is an editorial assistant and the only black woman at her office until a new black girl is hired and joins the office. But these two soon start being pitted against each other in very threatening ways. We also keep hearing from different perspectives from other mysterious characters who you will get to know, and so you're constantly piecing together what is going on. This is serious page-turner material. But you'll want the fire on high because it is chilling. If you're more in the mood for an adventure novel, you could read The Prince of the Skies by Antonio Iturbe. So this is the story of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, who is the author of The Little Prince, that beloved childhood book. You'll find in The Prince of the Skies that there are loads of parallels between the life of Antoine de Saint-Exupéry and the events that you may remember from his book. The main one being that he was a pilot. He was actually a pilot during the war. And so this book, The Prince of the Skies, follows his life story, and it's this thrilling adventure. It's also very much about friendship with these three best friends at the centre of the story. It's just fantastic historical fiction. But then jumping to something very, very current, you could read State of Terror by Hillary Clinton and Louise Penny. This is a really fast-paced political thriller that only Hillary Clinton could have written because there is so much behind-the-scenes inside knowledge in this book. The political landscape in this book is extremely relevant and extremely recognisable, and we just watched this terrifying worst case scenario play out across a global stage. You will not be able to put it down. And finally, I wanted to show you these two proofs of books I've really enjoyed recently. I will start with this one, A Marvellous Light, because this book is actually out today when this video goes live, so you will now be able to get your hands on a finished copy. A Marvellous Light is the first in what's going to be a series of fantasy adventure novels. It's also a romance between two main male love interests. I absolutely loved this one, it was so much fun. So this is set in an alternate Edwardian England where there is magic hiding right beneath all of our noses. We have two lead characters, one from a very old magical family and the other from a very posh English family but who didn't know anything about magic until he is accidentally given a job within the government that requires him to liaise with the magical world. One of the most fun and unique things in this book is that the magic system is inspired by Cat's Cradle, and I loved reading about how it works. Casting spells is called cradling and requires these very intricate hand movements. I did buy myself a Cat's Cradle string and I have been playing with it non-stop ever since I read it. And then coming out next year, watch out for The Christie Affair by Nina de Gramont. This is so much fun, particularly if you're a big Agatha Christie fan. The book is a fictionalization of the 11 days when Agatha Christie went missing. This is a true story and no one ever really found out what happened to her and where she was. Agatha Christie herself maintained that she couldn't remember where she'd been. The twist in The Christie Affair is that this story is narrated from the perspective of Agatha Christie's husband's mistress. There are so many layers to this book. I had so much fun with it. We get the story of Agatha Christie's disappearance, so that's one mystery. There is also another murder mystery playing out alongside it, and that part is written like an Agatha Christie novel. It's really good, old-fashioned fun. And then we also have a third storyline told through flashbacks into our main narrator's past. And that thread of the story is really sad and moving and really powerful, and they all come together to combine into this just fantastic page-turning read. There is something in there for everyone. So with that, get your fires lit or bring them up on the TV screen. I swear they really do make you feel warmer. That always does the trick for me. And dive into one of these cozy books. I would also love to hear any of your recommendations, so do leave them in the comments below. Do subscribe to Book Break because we release 2 new videos every week just packed full of book recommendations like these. So click through and browse our channel to find your perfect next read. And I'll see you next time.